If you're going to acid wash in order to expose the aggregate in a piece of flat work in your backyard or in your driveway or wherever you're going to do it, once the flat work is down and well cured, like ideally at least a week, giving the salts and the alkali and the base components of the mix design a chance to get to the top if they're coming to the top. The things you need are muriatic acid of the type that is available at pool supply stores and concrete accessory stores. You need a garden variety plastic garden sprayer. Use a plastic one because it's really hard on a metal one. You need a lot of water, and ideally with pretty good pressure. If I was doing this inside, yeah, a respirator may become a big deal, and ventilation would certainly be a big deal, but in general, the acid, the spray can, and lots of water. I use a 50% solution. That is, I put a gallon of water in the bottom of my spray rig and pour a gallon of acid right on top of it. Mix it up, spray it on. If you're wondering how much acid you're going to need, this concrete is a 7-sack mix, 3/8 aggregate. It's been laying on the ground for about 10 days. And at a 50% solution, it takes about a gallon mixed with a gallon of water to acid wash 250 square feet, you know, plus or minus. The way I check is after I've acid washed it and the neutralizing process has taken place, as evidenced by the white bubbles, the foam forming, I come back over it a little later and spray the area that I sprayed before. And if none of the bubbles form, it feels to me like everything is neutralized and I can move on. Now, something that is important is on a hot day, don't get too much acid laying out there for too long, because if it dries, that greenish yellow foam dries onto the rocks and it makes a stain that is really hard to get off. If you've just got to do this on a hot day, and if your concrete's been baking in the sun and it's hot, wet it down first. Just sort of mist it or spray it with some water so that the top of the concrete is not quite so thirsty, and it'll buy you a little time before you have to get over it and wash off the sludge. Besides that, it seems like, and this could be simply my imagination, but it seems like you get a more uniform wash if the substrate is at least damp. Those white bubbles are evidence of the reaction. As the liquid runs downhill, it is not able to do its work because it's already done its work. So I probably should be starting at the bottom and working my way to the top.
I'm a long ways from an expert on cure and seals, on what it is that you put on the top of your concrete after it's poured to protect it and maintain its appearance. There's a bewildering assortment of these products available. And so I recommend that if you don't have a few years in at this, you find somebody who does. And one pretty good way to do that is to find a concrete accessory store, somebody that sells the unique items and specializes in the saws and the trowels and the fabrics and the rebar and all of the form hardware and everything associated with concrete. When you find that store, you're going to find someone who can give you good advice for your area on sealing and curing and sealing. Now, I made that silly assertion because the curing of concrete is keeping the water inside of the mix long enough for it to get strong, and the sealing of concrete is protecting the top and maintaining a decorative appearance if you want a decorative appearance. Sometimes they happen in the same product, sometimes they're in separate products, and you need someone who knows what's available where you are and the conditions where you live to give you the right advice.
But I've decided to use a straight sealer. Seal Pro is the product we're using today. It's what Dustin Furch recommends, and if Dustin Furch recommends it, that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to put it on heavy, back roll it, and be able to reseal the old concrete and seal for the first time the new exposed aggregate that you watched me put down just a few minutes ago. Lots of pressure in these cans is really key to putting on any kind of a smooth or, usable coat. And for this stuff, you want a heavy coat. Unlike a cure and seal, which you don't need a super heavy coat, this stuff needs to go on strong and then back roll it. One thing to keep in mind is don't get your sealer on anything except the concrete, because baby, it is hard to clean off. What I said about not getting sealer on anything you don't want to get sealer on. So I've got overspray up on this little split face block. What that means is we're going to end up putting sealer on all of this split face block. I'll wait to see what it looks like after it dries, but that was sloppy. I'm in a hurry, and I guess, you know, sometimes that's the way the mob flops, right? And right there we have a plug. It plugged up, which is a problem because when I take this apart, my fingers are going to get all sticky, and it's just unfortunate, but it's a fact of life. So here's the tip. The orifice is small, and if you don't have a piece of tie wire that you've flattened out, ready to clean that out, you look around for a piece of grass, a little straw that might go back in there. Too big. Can you see that little rock on the side of that grass stem right there? That was it. I think we're back in business. About him. So this is what I should have been doing all along. But as it turns out, this gloss sealer is not a real wet look. And so this overspray that I got on the block over there is pretty much invisible. But I don't want to get a bunch of spray on these wooden trim pieces. So we'll do this.
Oh, I was going to do that. Honest, Dad.
Oh, I know. That's all. That's good.
We're probably filming, right?
Well, I'm out. I got about 320 square feet out of 5 gallons, something like that. Looking back, I'm hoping that it dries to a more uniform color. It may. If not, I may have to do another coat. But we've come to the end of the process of putting in Amanda's flat work outside of her shop. And I'm delighted because now that girl can go to work landscaping and we can wrap this project up, and it will begin to make its long-term positive contribution to the welfare of this family. It's something that I've been banking on and taking a great deal of satisfaction in now for just about a year. Thanks for watching Essential Craftsman. Keep up the good work.